Hey everybody, Lisa Sabaniak here from lifelikeyoumeanit.com, and I've hopped on live so that we can talk again about another tip that we can add to our bag of tricks helping us cope with anxiety, not just at this time, but at any time. So far, what I have shared with you is the importance of doing meditation. So I've challenged you with doing a meditation every day. Then I've challenged you to adding 5 things, people, or experiences that you are grateful for, writing them down as a part of a daily reflection every day. And then I've asked you to bring that with you to bed at night so that in the morning, before your head ever raises from that pillow, that you can actually go back over the things, people, and experiences that you are grateful for and really allow yourself to recall what that feels like, to put yourself back in that state of mind, which will set the tone for your whole day. Right? So these are things that you could be doing every single day, regardless if you are under anxiety or stress or pressure at any time, but certainly when you know that you're going through a period where you are feeling anxiety. So of course, right now, with everything that we are going through as a whole society, all globally, of course, anxiety and tension levels are much higher than what they normally would be. But of course, you know yourself and you know whether or not anxiety is something that you typically deal with anyways, right? So if that's the case, getting into some daily habits that will help you to shift your mindset and really have a real sense of contentment within yourself is actually the best thing that you could be doing, rather than kind of trying to mitigate it once it's actually happened, right? Trying to deal with the anxiety once it's jumping up. So rather than playing defense, I'm suggesting that you play offense. So that's what these videos are all about, is giving you your coping strategies that you can start implementing to create new habits in your day so that you have a whole bag of tricks. You've got a whole new habit that you are doing each day that is helping you as a whole to shift your mindset, increase your mental health and your emotional well-being, but that any of these on their own could actually be used for their own coping mechanism for when anxiety, stress, tension rises in your day. So we've got our meditations, we've got our gratitudes, both as a reflection at the end of the day, as well as at the very beginning of the day to set the tone for your day. And today, what I'd like to talk about is the single greatest tool that I have in my bag of tricks. Once I figured this out, my life literally changed, but it's also the most difficult, and that is surrendering control. So I talked earlier this week about the importance of acceptance and how acceptance is really the lack of resistance, and which is different from resignation, right? Those things are very far apart from each other, really. Accepting what is happening in your life at this particular moment, how that's impacting your finances, your health, your emotional well-being, your family, all of it, right? That is happening right now, whether we want it to or not, right? It's not what any of us wanted. It's not what any of us expected. And it's surely not where we would like to stay, but it is what is happening. Spending all of your energy focusing on resisting that is futile. All it's going to do is raise your anxiety levels. However, if you're able to take that anxiety, or take that energy rather, that you would put towards resisting, and instead accept what has happened, and then take that energy and put it towards your game plan for how you are going to, for you, work your way through this, through the things that you can control. And part of that, a very large part of that, is surrendering control of what you cannot control. And the single greatest thing that we have no control over is other people. In fact, the only thing we do have control over is ourselves. We control our thoughts. We control the mantra that's going to play in our head. We control our mood. We control all of our actions and our reactions. We control whether we are going to time travel to the future, where we are going to bog ourselves down with all the what ifs of what could happen, things that have not happened yet and may never happen, but we're going to stress about it anyways and increase our anxiety. Or subsequently, time travel back to the past, to other times when we felt like we were out of control, other times when we felt like we were vulnerable and raised our anxiety levels like this, right? Completely different circumstances, but same results to us. As humans, that's in our nature to do these types of things, to look at past experiences and how they played out so that we can plan for future experiences, so that we can get a different result if the result we had wasn't something that we would like to repeat, right? It is part of our skill set. However, neither of these things are things that we can control. It doesn't matter how much you mull over the past, you're not going to change it. No matter how much you wish you would have said this differently or done this differently, it doesn't matter. It's done. It's not going to change. And the same thing with you, mulling over all the different possibilities about the future, that does not give you control over the future, right? We just have to sometimes recognize what we don't have control over. And what we do have control over is right this second. And this one. And this one. This moment right here is what we can control. And the only thing in that moment we can control is ourselves. We choose not to travel in the future or in the past in this moment. We choose to stay right here. We choose to be looking at things as a positive way as much as we can. We choose to look at what we can control. What can we do as far as our income or our business or our health or our family life? What can we control out of this? Right? And it may mean a long-term plan. Absolutely. Every single moment of that long-term plan is something you can control and nobody else can. But you are never going to be able to control, in this situation, the government and what they're choosing to do, your employer, if you are employed and what they're choosing to do, your client, if you're not employed and you're self-employed, whether or not people are going to buy your product from you anymore. You can't control that. You can't control whether people are going to leave their house, practice social distancing, wash their hands, do any of that. And that is what is so frustrating and leaves us feeling so vulnerable. But as soon as you realize that you can't control those other things, those people, that ends up actually having a great weight lifted off your shoulders. You end up realizing that your anxiety is actually coming from this desire to control them and your inability to do so. And as soon as you realize that, and you realize, actually, I do have a lot of control over something right now, me. I control how I'm going to choose to look at this, how I'm going to think about it, the words I'm going to use, the language I'm going to use to express myself to myself and to other people, the narrative of this story that I'm going to tell, what I'm going to do about it on my end, of what I have control over. And that's incredibly empowering, incredibly empowering. And I know that this is a difficult thing to do because believe me, 20 years ago, this was like the most amazing game changer in my entire life and will remain to until the day I'm sure of it, right? This was it. Surrendering control. I practice it now going forward with my preliminary hearing with my abuser. I can't control that. That's the number one way that I control my anxiety. And if you can wrap your head around it, it's the number one way that you can control your anxiety as well. Recognizing that you do have control and everything else that you don't have control over is surrendered. It's released. It is not yours. It's not your problem to solve. There's nothing you are going to do. This is what you focus on right here and right now. And for some people, just that awareness, just that aha moment, not just right now when you're listening to this, but when you are catching yourself feeling anxiety and you actually stop and say, actually, I'm feeling anxiety because I'm trying to control the uncontrollable. That awareness right there just shifts everything in an instant, right? Reminding yourself to bring yourself back to this present, to empower yourself with what you can control. Take action with what you can control is incredibly powerful. Now, in the description, I've included a link to a meditation that I have on my YouTube channel, which of course is free, which is Surrendering Control, aptly named. Meditation that I actually adapted and placed on there a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, now. So obviously nothing to do with coronavirus, COVID-19. However, it is exactly the strategy that I use when I need to surrender control and I'm having difficulty doing it with awareness alone. I actually go and listen to my own meditation and I surrender control using this meditation. And then once I've done it from there, then usually that allows me to actually do it in a lot of other different ways without having to go back to that particular meditation. So the point here is the surrendering of control is absolutely crucial in here. But second point that is really important is that you find your way of surrendering that control. Start with awareness. That's a great place to start. Start with the reminding yourself and finding the things that you do have control over. And also go and look at my meditation and any others that you find that might be helpful in specifically helping you to surrender that which you cannot control and take control over that which you can. I hope that that was helpful for you today. I will come on live again, of course, tomorrow, and I will give you another tip. But I'm telling you, this particular tip is the biggest game changer of my entire life. If you can wrap your head around how to surrender control and are willing to do it, I am telling you now, it is number one, my go-to in every situation that I face, the moment that I start to feel anxiety. It is the thing that keeps me sane. It's the thing that helps me manage my mental health the most. It's the thing that helps me stay balanced and centered and within a great realm of emotional wellness. This tip alone can do all of that. Bless, I don't see any comments here, but please go ahead and comment. Give me your questions, give me your tips. Tell us what's working for you, whether you're trying the things that I'm suggesting or you're doing your own things. I would love to hear about it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.